What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. Hopefully, you can hear me. I told you in my last piece that I was had issues with my webcam. I did not get a new webcam yet. Damn it. So I apologize for that. But I did find an old headset. It's old, but it's brand new. I bought it years ago, and I never used it because when I first tried it, thinking I was going to use this headset, it sounded like what you're hearing now, and I hated it. So I never used it. But in this emergency situation, I'm using it because it's all I got. And so anyway, hopefully you may just have to turn up your volume so you can hear me. I'm not as clear. And then also when I play clips, the sound balance will probably be some crap. If I can adjust it in post editing, I'll do that. But I'm just offering that now in case I don't succeed. But I start again to say, what's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. I told you so. I told you so. I told you back in 2020, Trump will run again and he will win. No one believed me. Then, the day that even my landlords, who are white Republican Trump supporters, and when I said to my landlord that he's going to run again, he's going to win, he's like, he can't run again, especially now with all these charges and everything. I go, you are white, he is white. Your people always change the rules for y'all. So he will run again and he will win. The day that he announced, I took a clipping of it and texted it to my landlord and said, I told you so. After the returns came in, I texted him saying, I told you back in 2020 he would run again and win. Here's my I told you so. So I told you so, everybody, and I said that I would come back and do my I told you so video. This is it. I meant to be on camera for this, but sadly I'm not. You know. But hopefully I'll get a video, a webcam tomorrow, and maybe I can be live tomorrow at some point. Certainly before the week is out. But why this happened is because is what I've told you. There's certain truths that you're going to have to accept, even if they don't seem like they're the truth to you. The beautiful thing about the truth is that it just is. So you can deny it, you can reject it. It doesn't matter. The truth is, and it will be. It's one of the main things I love about the truth. And so the truth is that as a people, we are at war in this country, and we have been since this white demon brought us to these shores. Just because you know one or two good white folks doesn't mean a damn thing. It's actually dangerous because it lulls you into the fantasy that things are better and that things have changed and that not all white people are bad and all those sorts of fictions. You see? But if you're somebody like me, you keep your eye on the big picture and what the truth of it is. And the truth is that white people are racist at their core. They are inferior at their core. They are jealous at their core. I've always preached to you, even the emotion of jealousy is not a natural human emotion. This is a learned behavior from white people. They are the entity on earth that harbors jealousy. They don't have the capacity to forgive even. They hold grudges while they tell you you should get over it or things are so long in the past that it's over when they know that's not the truth. You see what's happening in Gaza. You see what's happening. They've been murdering the Palestinians for 100 years, and the Palestinians get one lick in, and they act like it all started on that day, and they've gone and murdered over 200,000 Palestinians now. Don't ever tell me shit about these people, because I know what the truth is. If you're someone that only stands in the crowd, you don't know that you're surrounded by 70,000 people. But I'm the dude up on the tall ladder and on the cherry picker. I see over the entire crowd. I know it's 70,000 people in this bitch. That's who I am, and that's where I'm trying to pull you to be. This is important because when you understand this, then you make the prediction that I made. They have been ass hurt since Obama raised his hand and said, "So, so help me God." Actually, we could go before that. They've actually been ass hurt since the returns came in that CNN and the Associated Press and everybody on earth is now projecting that Senator Barack Obama will be the next president of the United States. Their heads rolled off. White people are only content when they are running shit and stealing all of their other shit from everybody else who's greater than them. This is their way. They have never achieved anything. They still don't even know how to wash their ass. Did you know it's a real thing? They don't even use washcloths, everybody. This is a real thing. It's a real thing. They don't even use a washcloth to wash their ass. This is people who we're dealing with. So you had 8 years of a damn near perfect human being, and it's followed up by this mediocrity, this fat slob of an inferior, decrepit, pathetic thing. And that's the shit they voted for. Because whiteness is over everything. So just because you got some white friends talking about Black Lives Matter and we're all for Kamala, they're white. And their whiteness comes first. And I'm not mad. We just need to make blackness first for us. Black needs to be first in everything that you do. That's why I've said to you, you don't have any first anywhere doing anything. We have black people in every fucking sector of this country at the highest levels of code of security clearance and everything. But they're not there in the way of blackness. They're there for their own pathetic ass to do just what white fucking people do. And anytime you ascend to a position and you don't act in the interest of black people, then you're not a first. We don't really care. We don't care. We just don't care. It don't mean nothing. So we don't have any firsts that have done anything yet. Nothing. Nothing at all. Not a damn. So whiteness was important. Whiteness. If it had been any other candidate for the Democrats that succeeded Joe Biden, the shuffling diaper, Trump would not have won last night. But we are not going to have this black bitch as our damn president. They ran to the polls. They ran. They voted early. You understand? They stood in line. They did whatever they had to do. Whiteness had to prevail. We don't care if he's a 34-time felon. We don't care if he's a sex offender. We don't care if he's a shyster and a fraud. Damn it, we want whiteness. That's who they are. That's what they are. That's what they are. And for all of us wrangling about whether or not Kamala is black and how black is she and she ain't black and this and third, to them she's nothing but a black bitch. Because they know what I know. What I see, that's what you are. If I see a cookie, it's a cookie. If I want to know the ingredients, I'll read them. But for now, let me just enjoy my damn cookie. If she had just shut the fuck up and just been like, I'm a black woman, we would have taken her as that. But all this Southeast Asian and I'm Qantas and I'm Emirates and I'm, no. Why are you telling us that? Let me hear you speak in some Southeast Asian language. Oh, you can't. So why are you telling me this? What's the goal? Because she thought she needed to exotify herself to be acceptable to what? Inferior ass white people. And what everybody needs to start to understand, not just black people, is you need to stop giving a damn, first of all, a damn about what white people think, say, or feel. They should not be on your mind. That's why I speak the way that I do in life. They are not a consideration at fucking all. So whiteness is what it was about. And I knew that. I knew that. That's why I could boldly say to you, she's not going to win. Before she even came on the scene, I said Trump's going to run again and he's going to win. Then when she was suddenly the nominee, or the the well, she wasn't nominated, she was designated. So when she became the designation, I said to you, she won't win. Once I saw how she was responding about the murder and genocide and slaughter going on in Gaza. That's it. Listen, she lost Georgia. There's 87,000 Muslims just in Georgia alone, or Arabs. We don't have to say Muslims, just Arabs. Because I'm sure there's more Muslims than just that, because all Arabs are not Muslims and all Muslims are not Arabs. But the Arab population in just Georgia is 87,000. And I've already told you, Michigan has the largest concentration of Muslims and Arabs in the country. Philadelphia has the largest population of non-Arab Muslims in Philly. The righteous, which are the Muslims, the God-fearing, which are the Muslims, we will never vote for anyone who we see has allowed and funded the murder of 200,000 people. We're just not going to do it. Because we understand that nobody got on a fucking cross and died for us, and that we're going to have to account for every damn thing we've done in this lifetime when we meet our Maker. Get there. Get there. Because that will monitor your character. So, she was not going to win Michigan, I said to you, and she didn't. I told you she wouldn't win any of the, what were they calling them? Battleground, not they had something else. Well, there was battleground states, but there was, they have a different term, I can't remember. I said she won't win those because I know that those also have significant Muslim populations as well. Not only that, as Dr. King would say, not only that, but not only that, but I've also educated you and told you that Islam is the fastest growing faith on the planet. It's outpacing everything else combined. And the prophecy is that until Islam is the number one religion on the earth, then and only then can the Son of Mary return to the earth. That's real, everybody. And because white people are so obsessed with keeping numbers and facts and figures and shit and being in everybody's business, they're the ones keeping tabulations. Go look and see what the world Muslim population is on earth right now. Just go Google it. I won't even tell it to you. You go find it out for yourself. We will be eclipsing Christianity in a very short time. The mosque that I go to now is a church we bought because we outgrew the one we were in before. So we had to buy up this church. Churches are going empty, and Muslims are buying them up and turning them into mosques. This is happening all over the world. All over the world. People are walking away from the fiction that is Christianity. It just goddamn it is. And that's going to be true whether you like it or not, or whether I say it or not. So you need to get there. So, I digress. Whiteness was on the ballot in a box that you could not see or check. Whiteness. Whiteness. Because they didn't have two white options. They definitely not voting for that black bitch. Not doing it. They voted for Obama because McCain had one foot on a banana peel and the other one was in the grave. They knew it. They had no choice. But remember, Barack didn't get the white vote. Go look up the numbers. Go and educate yourself about the truth of what's going on, everybody. I say it again, Barack Obama did not get the white vote. Everybody else is who elected Barack Obama. Do you understand? And they see that the day has come where very soon they won't have the say of anybody. That's why I wish we as black people would just vote together and we could dictate all of the damn politics in this bitch. But you so busy trying to be a damn individual and shit. That will be the death of you and the rest of us. It already is. So, this pathetic, inferior thing, felon and all, is back. And I say to any of my people in the sound of my voice now, go far and wide. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell everybody you know that maybe, especially those who may not have a job because they have a felony, you tell them they go fill out a job application tomorrow and dare a bitch. Tell them they don't need to check the felony box. They don't need to. And when that employer comes back and says, we weren't able to give you the job because you didn't pass the background check, ask them why. Oh, because we found you had a felony. You say, then you hold up a picture of this fucking piece of shit right here and say, he's the president, he's got 34 felonies. You see? And then you go and you start a civil suit against that fucking establishment. We're going to start some case law in this bitch. Because one thing I know about white people is you got to do the same shit back to them that they do to you. That's been our problem over the centuries. We trying to pray and be peaceful and shit. You need to do the exact same shit to them that they do to us. That's in life. Somebody do some shit to you, you do the exact same shit back to them. They don't do the shit no more. That's the magic. That's the magic ingredient. Do unto others as they do unto you. And they don't do the shit no more. That's what's real. That's what's real. So, felon and all, he swept the country. No Republican has won the popular vote since Reagan. They've only gotten in by theft and by the Electoral College. But he even won the popular vote. He even won the popular vote. White folks is real nervous while they grin in your face. They go right in the booth and vote for this piece of shit. My parents told me when I was knee high to a grasshopper, you don't take these people as friends ever. 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 Because they understood the truth of who they are. They knew. And they gave me the blueprint so that I would be able to recognize the paths on which I walked through life when I encountered these people. And everything they told me has come to pass. Everything. All of it. So, whiteness is why he won. Kamala could have made Christ come through the clouds. They still would have voted for this piece of shit. Still would have. And there she's got her white husband and all of it. It didn't matter. And I'm not the only one that feels this way. Let me now play for you the profound remarks by Sunny Houston from The View. And oh, by the way, Van Jones said something to this effect. He said this was a cultural rejection or something like that. He goes, forget policy. This was about cultural rejection, something like that. But hear now what Sunny Houston had to say, and we'll talk about it.
Second one, I remember the whole map was red.
Yeah.
It was pretty red last night.
I don't know. I'm profoundly disturbed. I think if you look at the New York Times this morning, the headline was America makes a perilous choice. I think that in 2016, we didn't know what we would get from a Trump administration, but we know now. And we know now that he will have almost unfettered power. And so I worry, not about myself, actually. I don't worry about my station in life. I worry about the working class. I worry about my mother, a retired teacher. I worry about our elderly and their Social Security and their Medicare. I worry about my children's future, especially my daughter, who now has less rights than I have. And I remember my father telling me many, many years ago that I was the first person in his family to enjoy full civil rights. And now I have less civil rights than I had when he told me that. So again, I'm profoundly disturbed that the 14th Amendment of the Constitution did not prevent someone who participated in an insurrection from becoming president of the United States. I think that going forward, the convicted felon box on employment applications better be taken off, because if you can be the president of the United States, then you should not be prevented from employment in this country, because I remember applying for my jobs as a federal prosecutor, and there was a box for convicted felons.
Well,
and so that box better be taken off. And I think our healthcare system is now at risk. I think
no fluoride for anyone.
Yeah, economists have made clear that he's going to increase the debt by $7.75 trillion. I'm worried about mass deportation and internment camps, and I'm also worried about Elon Musk warning Americans to prepare for temporary hardship. I'm surprised at the result, but I'm not surprised. As a woman of color, I was so hopeful that a mixed-race woman married to a Jewish guy could be elected president of this country. And I think that it had nothing to do with policy. I think this was a referendum of cultural resentment.
Cultural resentment in this country. You see? Jealous ass fucking white people. You see? Oh, they were all behind Hillary because she was a white bitch, at least. But we will not have this black bitch. No. They ran from their houses to go vote. Do you understand? They dug up people who ran out of their grave to go and vote against Kamala. We have the video. Do you understand? I love that. Let's hear that part again.
As a woman of color, I was so hopeful that a mixed-race woman married to a Jewish guy could be elected president of this country. And I think that it had nothing to do with policy. I think this was a referendum of cultural resentment in this country.
well,
I think
Cultural resentment. You hear they clapped.
it, I'm
Cultural resentment. But you hear it wasn't a full audience clap. Because again, you got hateful ass white people anywhere you go. That's a fact, everybody. And the sooner people start to realize this, and I'm very pleased that many are starting to realize this. I was watching a documentary about Gaza, and I finally saw there was one chick from Al Jazeera. She was Palestinian. There was a few people throughout this documentary that were like, if this was white people, X, Y, and Z, this wouldn't happen. More and more people. I'm hearing it more from people in Africa. White people this, white people that. People are starting to understand the virus on the earth is these fucking people. If you really just take the time to sit with yourself one day, just sit for a couple of hours, even if that's all you got. Just sit. Read, watch, whatever you got to do, and just start contemplating all of the strife on earth, past and present, and you'll begin to see the white cause. You will see it. You will see it. I have videos here on the channel talking about showing you a white hand, and I challenge anybody viewing me, the things that I lay out in the video, and I say, you show me anything, I'll show you a white hand. Show me any strife or ill upon humanity, and I'll show you a white hand. I'll show it to you. I don't have to produce this out of thin air, everybody. The truth just is, as I said. It just is. The thing is people got to get about acknowledging the fucking truth and acting on the truth and not what you feel. Gotta start acting on the truth and acknowledging it, and letting it rule the day. But I love what she said there. And then I think it also would be beneficial to play just a little bit of this inferior bastard, just so you could see. Now, as you watch this, I want you to imagine you've never been to America. You never knew who the president was. Excuse me. You don't know anything. You came from another planet, even. And I want you to assess this from that point of view. You've never saw this guy, ever. Ever, ever, ever. Ever. Now, through that prism, see what you think of this.
And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than it has ever been before. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
Who believes that? Who believes that? It wasn't even believable. But again, when you're white, you can be inferior and mediocre, everybody. White mediocrity and white inferiority is being given preference and validity over black excellence. We're 50 times better than these fucking people at anything we do, and they know it. They know it. They know it. And so every parent should always be telling their black child, you're better than them. Stop this, you just as good as anybody else. Fuck that. Our children need to know you're better than them. You just got, in every way, physically, mentally, emotionally, you are better than them. Be aware. Because that's what my parents told me, and it's the fucking truth. I know that I'm better. I know it. And I've never doubted it. I've never doubted it. I know I'm better than them. I know it. I know already. I know already. Damn. But you see, there are other reasons why, with whiteness being the first one, let's make sure we understand that. That's first of all. Whiteness is the reason. There are other reasons why she lost that are also connected to whiteness. And some things that has to be borne, the weight has to be carried by her, as I see it. Number one of the, or two of the things that people were saying of why they were voting for Trump and why they eventually did vote for Trump was the economy. That makes me vomit. But also, and I've got a puke pan next to me just in case, because you never know. You never know. You never know when you're gonna just. You never know. So the economy, and across the earth, Democrats and Republicans are sick and tired of the slaughter of the people of Gaza. People are sick of that. Just sick and tired of it. Now, so I digress back to the cackling whore. What's that? I'm being told in my ear her name is Kamala. It's not the cackling whore? They're telling me it's not. I don't know. All right, you guys need to go and check your facts. As I was saying, everybody, before I was interrupted by several assistants. Anyways, all the heifer had to say when they talked about the economy, she was specifically confronted with that in several sit-down interviews that she did to her face. All the bitch had to say was that economy was Obama's economy. Because Obama finally said it out when he was campaigning for her. First time I saw him say it, he was somewhere in Pennsylvania. And the crowd went nuts because people know that, and they've been waiting for somebody to say it on the national level. Say it. Say it. So she could have taken taken his knees out with that on the economy. Listen, that economy belonged to Barack Obama, and then broke it down in a way that people could understand and see clear and easily that, yeah, that was Obama's economy. Because what white people also do, and their whole history is this: they show up, take some shit, and claim it was theirs, and they knew it all the whole time. Nobody objects to that. That's what they do. They make movies in Africa and put their white ass in it when they couldn't even stand it in 2024 without some fucking sunblock. You see what I'm saying? Columbus came here, if he did. People were waving at his bitch ass from the shore, but he discovered it. I mean, we could go on and on. So this was modern day that. Come in, the black man has done something amazing, and let white man claim that he did it. It's classic whiteness. Classic whiteness, and another sign of their inferiority. Inferior. The worst. So she could have just said that's Obama's economy and then showed and proved why that was the truth. That's number one. Number two, when they're trying to attach Biden's policies to her, all she had to say was, listen, as vice president, I serve. Listen, I'm not even a political analyst or a political advisor, but goddamn it, I should be, and they needed me. Here's her answer. If I'm her advisor, bitch, go out and say this, line for line. Say this, dumb bitch, what I'm about to tell you right now. When they say to you, President Obama's or President Biden's policy, and you were part of that. What's your answer? This your answer, dumb whore. As vice president, I serve at the pleasure of the president. I don't make policy. I can advise the president and give my input and my thoughts, but it's his pen that's going to sign. It's his final decision, no matter what I say. So, yes, and many of those policies I don't agree with. And then they're going to ask you a follow-up question. Could you give an example of at least one policy of his you don't agree with? Boom, give an example. And then do your own follow-up and say, and here's some of the things that I intend to do that'll be vastly different from what he's done. No shade to him. But I'm running as a different candidate. I want to do something different. Just as if he never selected me for vice president, here's the shit I would have been doing. And lay that out. She didn't do it. She didn't do it. And that was part of her damn demise. Additionally, she found it difficult to answer a fucking question, dude. Like, I never saw somebody be as aggravating as she. I mean, people were literally pulling their nose hairs out with their fingers one at a time when she spoke. I'm getting reports. It was, and here is someone who is supposed to be a prosecutor, a district attorney, and an attorney general. I've worked for many, many lawyers. I've been in many, many law firms, everybody. I've shared this with you over the years. I myself am very good with law, but even forget law. I'm a very good orator. It's one of the gifts I've been given, the ability to speak and carry my point. That's a gift. And so here's someone whose entire career is dependent on her ability to speak. As a prosecutor, you have to be able to speak and write why you're bringing a case against whoever the defendant is. You got to be able to put that in language that all of humanity could understand of why you're bringing this prosecution. As a district attorney, same thing. You got to be able to do report writing. You got to be able to speak and write. You got to be able to articulate what it is that you are trying to carry forth. And I digress back to the prosecutor portion of it. Because certainly as a prosecutor, at some point you're standing before 12 people, a jury, that you're going to ask to either convict or acquit. You got to be able to tell them in general fucking language the facts of the case, what your view of the case is, and your argument of why they should convict or acquit. This bitch could not answer, "What is your name?" I just thought, is she a lawyer? I mean, they were begging to see Obama's birth certificate. I need to see this bitch's law degree. I'm just going to need that. I'm going to need that. I'm going to need it, you see, along with my other daily vitamins and minerals and water and things. I'm going to need the bitch's law degree. I'm just going to have to see it with my own eyes. It has to have her name on it and all of it. I was literally pulling my nose hairs out. She could not answer a question. And the death nail was when she was on The View and she was asked directly by Sunny Houston, no less, what are you going to do different? What if anything that Joe Biden did that you would do differently? And the bitch, as everybody held their breath in the entire earth that saw this in real time, everybody held their breath. And then she said, I don't think there's anything I would change. That was the end of the campaign for her. It was the end of it. It was the end of it. That, and she couldn't answer a damn question about anything at fucking all. Like, at all. At all. And that was a consistent charge that I heard against her through everything that I watched on social media. Everybody of every stripe, even people who were strongly behind her, still had to acknowledge that she does not answer a fucking question. I've never seen a human being like that ever. Certainly not someone with a law degree who has the pedigree and prestige that she has enjoyed. And her husband is an entertainment lawyer. So just lawyered up and you can't answer a question. It's outrageous. Wonder how she answered a question when the jury sent out a note to the judge and said, we need clarity on, something. Wonder how she answered that. Or are we going to find rooms of juries that are just bones now with hair hanging off of them because they never could get an answer from this dumb bitch, and they were waiting so they could adjudicate and decide what they were voting on. It's just rooms of bones of people that were jurors that just will never be seen again. Their families are wondering and all of it. I mean, it was a nightmare. And finally, Number three, this fucker was out there lying about everything under the sun. Everything. His very existence is a lie. Every breath he breathed was a lie. So she could have just lied. Even if you don't mean it, just say it to win. You know, it's kind of like I tell anybody, when you go, you're applying for a job, never say you don't know how to do something. Let them find out you don't know how to do something after they've hired you. I'm dead ass about this. I'll give you an example. First, let me finish my point, and I'll come back and give you an example. She could have just said, on day one, I will be conducting an arms embargo. We will no longer send any more funding or arms to Israel. The bitch would have run in a landslide. In a landslide. Because she's lied about other shit. She said they were going to do the George Floyd Policing Act. They didn't do it. The bitch lied. They said that voting rights was going to be their number one thing when they got in office, and they never fucking looked at it ever again. So that was a lie. I mean, there's been lies. So lie about this just to win. Just win. Because you won't disappoint us anyway. Just lie. You're a politician. Lie. But she couldn't even do that. Damn. Meanwhile, this fucker literally has his name with a plaque, a huge sign that's dedicated to him in an illegal settlement in Gaza right now. He's proud of that. Illegal settlements are against fucking international law, and he has a fucking a whole settlement that's been named for him with a big ass sign and all of it with his name emblazoned across it. And this is the guy who's going to stop the murder in Gaza? I doubt it. So she didn't even know how to lie. You're running against somebody who everything he says is a lie, and you're telling about everything else that he's done. Fucking lie, bitch. Lie. She could have said that. He's got his name on an illegal settlement in Gaza. She never mentioned it. I'm over it. She is a dumb bitch, and so she deserved to lose. This was like, you are Mike Tyson, and you lost to Steve Urkel. This is that, everybody. This is that. This is that. Because how many of us would be clutching our throats and in dismay if we went to see a prize fight and, oh my God, out comes Mike Tyson. Oh my God, it's Mike Tyson. And Steve Urkel. You go, oh shit, my money's easy. I'm about to win this money. This ain't nothing. Like, this is nothing. And then Steve Urkel knocks out Mike Tyson. You'd be like, how the fuck did that just happen? How the fuck did Urkel just goddamn it win? What's happening? Wait, I want my money back. This is that. You're running against a fucking convicted felon and a sex offender. And you're a prosecutor and a lawyer and a fucking... And you couldn't beat this dude? Dumb bitch. Dumb bitch. Dumb bitch. That's just dumb bitch. Dumb bitch. I'm over it. I was going to give you an example. You know, many years ago, I was doing temp work. Back when I still lived in Maryland, and my agent called me up and says, "Listen, there's a position at USA Today. Do you know Excel?" I go, "Of course I know Excel." My hand to Allah, everybody. I had never heard of Excel, had no what the fuck what it was or anything. I go, "Of course I know Excel. Yeah, I know that." And when I got off the phone, I immediately called my brother and my sister-in-law and said, "Get your bitch ass over here and show me what the fuck Excel is." Because my sister-in-law has missed computer everything. She just knows it all. I literally still have a book here to this day called Excel for Dummies that they gave me. Wallahi, I have it. I've shown it on camera before when I've told this story. I literally have a book called Excel for Dummies. And that book I own to this day because of this phone call that I'm telling you about and this job that I took at USA Today in Foggy Bottom, Virginia. And when I got there, I didn't really need to know Excel. Do you understand? And I was a top fucking employee. The moral of this story, the value of sharing that is to tell you never say you don't know how to do something when you're asked, when you're trying to get a job or something. Don't say you don't know how to do something. Proclaim that you absolutely know how to do that. And let them find out you don't know how to do it. Because chances are you may not even need it. And that goes on in a lot of job descriptions and what they're looking for and stuff like that. They're trying to, it's another way that white people try and keep us out of jobs. Put some shit that you probably don't know. You feel me? Say you know it. And get the damn job. Because that's what I did. And I didn't need Excel. I didn't even need it. Never say you don't know how to do something. The job requires such that you don't do such. Yeah, of course I know how to do that. You know. Even if it's typing. You know, we're looking for somebody that types 150 words a minute. I type that. It's nothing. Let them find out you can't type 150 words a minute. You understand? Because now they've seen you, they've met you, they've felt your physical energy on the earth. Maybe they just like your perfume or cologne, or they think you're fantastic, and so it won't matter so much. But never say you can't do something. Never. Don't, even when you're looking for jobs and you see something you know you can't do, goddamn it, apply for the job anyway. Apply anyway. That's just a piece of advice for life in general. Do you understand? So I digress to this dumb bitch. So she couldn't win. And as Michael Moore pointed out, I saw an interview that he was doing. And he mentioned that where she was, at some point she was in Michigan, and where she was at was like less than 2 miles. There was a mosque that was less than 2 miles from where she was at. And there's like a million mosques in Michigan. But where she was at, literally where her airplane was at, was less than 2 miles from the closest mosque to where her plane had landed. And she could have just gone there. Meanwhile, Trump's bitch ass went there and literally, matter of fact, let me find the clip. He had fucking Muslims on stage fucking endorsing him. Grant you, the Muslim community, they may never be seen again. I ain't really joking about that. I'm not really joking about that. I wouldn't be surprised if they're never seen by humanity again. That's something else. But let's see the clip now of these people on stage bigging it up for this fucking piece of shit. But my point is that she didn't even try to make inroads to the Arab and Muslim communities. When they had their big convention where she accepted the nomination, in quotations, because it was a designation, bitch, you wasn't nominated. But when they had their big DNC convention, do you all know that there was a Palestinian that they wouldn't allow to go on the stage and speak? Did you know that before I said this to you right now? That's a real thing. They literally would not let a Palestinian go on the stage and prepare with this prepared speech and speak. Fuck Kamala and the bitch that gave birth to her, that fat bitch. Let's see this clip.
Good afternoon, Michiganders. As the president said, we just had a positive meeting with President Trump. We as Muslims stand with President Trump because he promises peace. He promises peace, not war. We are supporting Donald Trump because he promised to end war in the Middle East and Ukraine. The bloodshed has to stop all over the world, and I think this man can make that happen. I personally believe that God saved his life twice for a reason. I believe personally that God has saved his life for a reason, which is to save the lives of others. We support Donald J. Trump for his commitment to promoting family values and protecting our children's well-being, especially when it comes to curriculums and schools. We as Muslims support this man because we believe that he will be a president for all Americans, embracing every race, color, and religion. We are with President Trump because we want a strong border. And we agree with President Trump that anyone who wants to come to this country is welcome, but he has to do that through legal pathway.
It always kills me when some half non-English speaking piece of shit, whether they're Arab or Spanish or whatever, is so concerned about fucking immigration. You brought your immigrant bitch ass here. Now you want to pull up the ladder behind you. Fuck you. I hate that shit, man. I hate it. Let's go on.
We are with President Trump because we want a strong economy. Don't you want that? We are with President Trump to make America great again through peace and justice for all.
But see, by default, by him up there with that shit, he don't give a fuck about black people. And we should take that as a racial slur when anybody talking about making America great again, because there's never a fucking time when this bitch was great for us. You see? When you hear somebody say that shit, you see the flag or the cap or anything, you should say that's anti-black. It's anti-black. And we should have the same reaction these fake-ass Jews have when they make up this anti-Semitic bullshit. When our shit is really real. You feel what I'm telling you? It's wrong on so many fronts, dude. It's wrong on so many fronts. And there their bitch asses is up there standing. And nobody in that crowd looks like them. And everybody in that crowd would have some racist shit to say to them if they weren't up there, when they not up there on that goddamn stage. Trust and believe. Let's go on.
Lastly, Michiganders, I have 2 predictions for you for the next 6 months. Are you ready? Number 1, the Detroit Lions will win the Super Bowl. Ready for the second prediction? I can't hear you. Are you ready? The second prediction is Donald J. Trump will be the 47th president of the United States of America.
You see that? You see that? They are happy to stand with this devil. Plus, don't get me started on Arabs, because they come their bitch asses here and they try to be white and all the other bullshit. Yeah, this was his moment. He feels like he's some rock star. He got a chance to stand there in front of all these damn people and all of it. While he just shit on his whole fucking people. When he sees that the bombs in Gaza will still be falling once this tulip gets into fucking office and shit. I mean, they're a pathetic people. Pathetic. 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 Do you understand what I'm telling you? And I love Arabs. I know too many of them. But I tell you, they're a flawed ass people, man. Full of shit. Full of shit. They just goddamn it are. And not once does he mention the name of Allah. He doesn't recite Quran. He doesn't do anything when he's up there. Any Muslim speaking publicly always begins with the name of Allah. That's standard. That's like breathing. But he's too much of a bitch to do it. I'm over it.
Okay? All right, God bless you all and God bless America.
Now, you need to hear what the Tulip said, because you know he has to always exaggerate shit. Again, I wish Kamala knew how to lie, or about the right things, because the bitch can lie. She just don't know when to lie. So, of course, the Orange Tulip goes tries to make it seem like the entire Muslim world has endorsed him and shit. Let's see this clip.
We've gotten to know and really understand Muslims for Trump. How about that? Muslims for Trump. And it's become a big movement in Michigan, a beautiful movement.
It's become a big movement. It's not. He had 5 people up there standing on the fucking stage with his pathetic ass. It's become a big movement in Michigan. It's because the whole world is behind me now. In fact, I think all of the Muslim countries, they all just endorsed me. It's like nobody's ever seen it. It's never been done before. Nobody's ever seen it. Hear this bullshit.
We've gotten to know and really understand Muslims for Trump. How about that? Muslims for Trump. And it's become a big movement in Michigan, a beautiful movement. And you know what they want? They want peace. They really do. They don't want to be in wars. They're very smart.
You see, he's at a Klan rally. They ain't really clapping. You know what they want? They want peace. People should clap for that. Hear that now. Hear this. Hear this. When you know what they want? They want peace. And you listen to the crowd response.
And you know what they want? They want peace. They really do. Cricket. They don't want to be in wars. They're very smart. And you know, it started off as a little thing, and it's grown and grown and grown. And
a little thing. I had 5 people on the stage, but it's grown and grown and grown. It has not grown and grown and grown. But he'll say that. I'm not mad at him. Lie your way to the goddamn top if you need to.
Very smart. And you know, it started off as a little thing, and it's grown and grown and grown. And now we have a much bigger vote than they do. Can you believe that? Because they said these people are stupid. All they want to do is, they didn't know what to do. Actually, they were in between, and she has no idea. She doesn't know where the she is. She can't. And they liked me, and I like them. And let me just tell you, they want peace. They don't want to fight. And they're not involved in the terror and all the things that are going on. They're great people, and it's an honor for them. I don't know where they are, but Muslims for Trump, if you want to stand up, because this was a really great, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. And I think there's tremendous cohesion, and I think they may very well be responsible for the kind of numbers we're showing up in Michigan.
And he won fucking Michigan. Let the record show.
Michigan is really looking good, just like Pennsylvania's looking good, just like Georgia's looking good.
That's why he said Georgia's looking really good, because I saw you there's 87,000 fucking Muslims and goddamn it, or Arabs in Georgia. He go, Pennsylvania's looking good, because what I tell you, it said the largest population of non-Arab Muslims is in fucking Pennsylvania, bitch. You see? He's an idiot, but he ain't dumb. He's not dumb. He's not dumb. You have to really listen to this dude. He is a specific type of evil. A specific type of evil. Very cunning. Very cunning. Very cunning. Oh my God. And what I know about him personally, I've never met him, but I'm saying, what I know about him personally is that he's very enchanting. He's a very gracious man. He's very enchanting to be around. I've seen him around people that have never met him, and I've seen him in different settings and things like that. He's very endearing. He's very complimentary, very kind. he's what's the word I'm looking for? He's I don't know. Just enchanting is the only one that comes to mind. That's not the one I want. It just he's just very good at bringing people in. You know, like just making you feel at ease and disarming you and stuff like that. He's very good at that. You know, and you know the ironic thing about this piece of crap is he really could have been the greatest president there ever was. If he had been like if Bernie had his attitude, Bernie would have won because Bernie had all the populist policies that are popular across the board. Don't matter what party you for, Bernie was the dude. But Bernie's too wimpy. God love him, I do. But God love him, but he's too wimpy. And Trump is a shark. So he could have had populist policies, not bought into this redneck racist bullshit. His rallies wouldn't have looked like a fucking Klan rally. They would have looked like the whole country. And because he has that I don't give a shit and arrogance about him, he could have been like, and we're gonna have Medicare for all. We're gonna have a basic income. What you call that? Universal basic income. We're gonna have housing. We're gonna get rid of the filibuster. We're gonna get rid of the electoral college. I mean, he would have just, man, this dude would have been all the shit he claims to be, and he's the greatest and it's the best, and nobody's ever seen it. It really would have been that. But for some reason, well, not for some, but because he's a white devil, he chose whiteness. Let's go to the white people who hate everybody else and who think they're victims and shit. And they will be my base. These yahoos who can't fucking spell and have never been inside of a classroom. That's my base. Let's go. Hee-haw. You see, he could have been the greatest president there ever was. Because the greatest president that will come about, if it ever happens, and it won't, but if it could, the person who will be the greatest president will be the president who knows what the people want across the board, what the populace is saying, what they want and what they need, and will actually do it. He could have been the greatest, man. He wouldn't have to make up that his rallies were the biggest or he had the biggest inauguration in the history of ever. None of that shit is true. But it could have been. It could have been true. And what also makes him dangerous now is that not only did he win the presidency, but they've taken the Senate now. And I don't know, as I'm speaking to you now, what the numbers are on the House of Representatives. But if he's got the House and the Senate and the fucking executive branch, it's over, bitches. It's over. It's over. So I'm trying to get the fuck up out of here and get back to Gambia as quickly as I can. It's not going to be pretty. It's not. And those Muslims that dared to stand up there on that stage with him, they're going to be first of all, they're going to be ostracized by the entire Muslim community. They will be. I'm sure they're suffering now. They're probably getting death threats and everything else, as they should. And they're going to be very disappointed if they live. They'll be very disappointed and realize what suck booties they were to stand up there on this stage publicly with this demon for all the world to see. There they stood. There they stood. And what also irks my ass is I'm sick and tired of these stinking ass Arabs being the face of Islam. They are not. I repeat to you, Arabs make up the smallest population of the world Muslim population, everybody. Most Muslims on planet Earth are not fucking Arabs. Let's be very clear about that. Let's be very clear. If you didn't know that, you know it now. But every time you hear the word Muslim, they put some fucking Arab up in your face. And we're sick of that. I speak for many hundreds of millions of people when I say that shit. We're sick and tired of it. We're sick and tired of it. We're sick and tired of it. So, I think it would just be proper now to see the Cackling Whores concession speech, and then we'll be over it.
Thank you. Thank you. So let me say, and I love you back. And I love you back. So let me say,
This was at Howard University, everybody, by the way, in case you don't know. This was at Howard University in Washington, D.C.
Thank you.
Shout out to Howard.
Thank you. So let me say, and I love you back. And I love you back. So let me say, my heart is full today. My heart is full today, full of gratitude for the trust you have placed in me, full of love for our country, and full of resolve. The outcome of this election is not what we wanted, not what we fought for, not what we voted for, but hear me when I say, the light of America's promise will always burn bright. As long as we never give up, and as long as we keep fighting. To my beloved Doug and our family, I love you so very much.
I'm over it.
To President Biden and Dr. Biden, thank you for your faith and support. To Governor Walz and the Walz family, I know your service to our nation will continue. And to my extraordinary team, to the volunteers who gave so much of themselves, to the poll workers and the local election officials, I thank you all. Look, I am so proud of the race we ran, and the way we ran it, over the 107 days of this campaign.
I have to point this out, y'all. Kamala Harris is 60 years old. Michelle Obama is also 60 years old. Big difference. Big difference. But look at her face, and her neck is like 160 years old. Just her neck alone is like 160. I've got people on it. They've got some DNA, and they're doing carbon dating and stuff right now. We'll have results by the end of the video. We're thinking like 160. We're thinking 160. All right, but look at her neck, though. I just had to point that out. I'll shut up.
Over the 107 days of this campaign, we have been intentional about building community and building coalitions, bringing people together from every walk of life and background, united by love of country with enthusiasm and joy in our fight for America's future. And we did it with the knowledge that we all have so much more in common than what separates us. Now, I know folks are feeling and experiencing a range of emotions right now. I get it. But we must accept the results of this election. Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power. A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That principle, as much as any other, distinguishes democracy from monarchy or tyranny. And anyone who seeks the public trust must honor it. At the same time, in our nation, we owe loyalty not to a president or a party, but to the Constitution of the United States. And loyalty to our conscience and to our God. My allegiance to all three is why I am here to say, while I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign. The fight for freedom, for opportunity, for fairness, and the dignity of all people. A fight for the ideals at the heart of our nation, the ideals that reflect America at our best. That is a fight I will never give up. I will never give up the fight for a future where Americans can pursue their dreams, ambitions, and aspirations, where the women of America have the freedom to make decisions about their own body and not have their government telling them what to do. We will never give up the fight to protect our schools and our streets from gun violence. And America, we will never give up the fight for our democracy, for the rule of law, for equal justice, and for the sacred idea that every one of us, no matter who we are or where we start out, has certain fundamental rights and freedoms that must be respected and upheld.
And also, you kept hearing, white people like, I'm undecided because I still don't know where she stands on the issues. I don't know what she stands for. They basically, when you hear white people say that, they're trying to say, is she for her people or not? That's the only thing they ever want to know. Because white people know they are due a fucking justice from black people. They know they are due. They know they are guilty. They know it. Born guilty. And so that's what they really mean. They always want to know, are you going to be for your people or not? Is she black? Does she think black, or is she been washed out? Has she been turned into a fucking zombie like us and shit? That's what that's really about. So just know that piece of information. Let's go on.
And we will continue to wage this fight in the voting booth, in the courts, and in the public square. And we will also wage it in quieter ways, in how we live our lives, by treating one another with kindness and respect, by looking in the face of a stranger and seeing a neighbor, by always using our strength to lift people up, to fight for the dignity that all people deserve.
You see, all this is all very kind language in all of it. But if you white, you don't got to say none of this shit. He used profanity. He called her every name in the book. All that. He's a fucking convicted felon, a convicted sex offender. All that's fine with they white ass. You see? All of that's fine. She couldn't even change her voice when she was around black people without them talking shit about it. We talk shit too. But You see what I'm saying? They expect perfection from us while they stand inferior and mediocre. Always know that. Always know that. Every black child must know that.
The fight for our freedom will take hard work. But like I always say, we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work can be joyful work. And the fight for our country is always worth it. It is always worth it.
Look, this bitch is devastated. Wait,
To
y'all.
the young-
Wait now. Look, wait.
It's
Damn
worth it. It is always worth it.
Wait. It was a few white bitches that started crying, but you got to see this one. Look, she cannot go on. This one right here. Hope you can see my cursor. I made it pink just so y'all could see it for now on. She cannot go on. You understand? She won't go on. There were some others that I saw crying. They had, I think this heifer right here with the phone up. I think it can't go on also. They can't go on. Look, this one in the hat. She cannot go on. Her life. It's a dead end. She simply cannot go on. She can't do it.
To the young people who are watching, it is. I love you.
And let me say about that too, because okay, those are white bitches crying and all that, but I do have a place in my soul that is bleeding and weeping for our women, black women, obviously. If you're new to this channel, I'm only and ever speaking about our people here, period. So my heart weeps and bleeds for our women and our girls. I want there to be a woman president. And even though there's no way morally I could have voted for this cackling whore, I still was pulling for her because I knew she was a better choice over the inferior bastard. Just a better image. You wouldn't have to be rolling your eyes and sucking your teeth for the next 4 years. Every 5 minutes because he tweeted something or he said something or he did this and he did. And it's just going to be 4 years of fucking eye rolling and, shaking your head and throwing shit at the TV. But it's high time that there be a woman president. I'm the type of man, I believe that things are better when women are present. I really believe that. Yes, there are some things where it's like, okay, women, y'all need to stand to the side. This is men. This time for men right here. You feel me? That's all fine. But I think that things are better when women are present. And I think that and there's many other nations that have women as their leader. Everybody. The Prime Minister of Barbados is a female. You understand? I love that woman too, by the way. She just has a thing about her that man, subhanAllah. But it's time for this fucking country to have a woman president. It's just got to be the right woman, though. And I'm not saying she was the wrong woman. If I didn't have the issue of Gaza, I would have been pulling for her. I just can't stand for the death of 200,000 people. I can't. I don't care who you are or what you offer me. She could have been saying the first day I get in office, everybody gets a fucking reparations check. I would have been like, I'm over it. If you're not going to stop the fucking killing and bombing in Palestine, I can't be with you. No moral person could have voted for either of these people. But millions of people still went out and voted. They will have to deal with that on the great day of judgment when they face the Maker. But I was pulling for her in my heart, and even just the imagery that would have brought, when they they open that door on Air Force One and she comes out. It's a woman, you know. Or even when she gives her first State of the Union, when the crier they tap that gavel and they go, Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States and his cabinet, and that door opens, it would be a woman. I wanted that. I wanted that. Just to hear Madam President said today, Madam President this, Madam President that. I wanted that, you know? I remember right before Barack won, I was so immersed that I didn't even think about the electoral votes in California automatically go to the Democrat. He had already won, and I was still stressing. I didn't realize it. But I remember I went into my room and I prostrated, and I just began begging Allah to give us this. Give us this. You know the strife of our people. Give us this. Give us this. And I just was begging God, please give this to us. And so I remember dreaming, because at that time, Nancy Pelosi was the first female Speaker of the House, and so she was Speaker of the House. And I just remember thinking, when they hit that gavel, they'll say, Madam Speaker, the President of the United States and his cabinet, and the door would open and it would be Barack. I dreamed that. And one day, it happened. It happened. Tick, tick. Madam Speaker, the President of the United States and his cabinet. And that door opened, and it was Barack Obama that came down the aisle, grinning and shaking hands and all of it. It came true. Exactly what I dreamed was happening in front of me. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. And so I wanted that, I want there to be a woman president because I think that women are better at governing. And, even in Islam, as Muslims, the woman is the governor. She's the governor in our household and in our marriages. She's the governor. We don't even call our women housewives. We call them housekeepers because they keep the house. Like they literally keep the house. You buy the house, but you don't own it. That's her house. She's the keeper of the house. And she also holds the purse strings in the house in Islam. Do you understand? What she say, go. Do you understand? The woman is the governor. Because our Maker has decreed and understands and has given the woman the temperament and the talent and the knowledge of how to govern, how to discern, how to make it all right. That's why women can do 50 things at one time and they still hear the baby crying. You feel what I'm telling you? They know. They know. They can have 6 things on the stove, a bunch of shit in the oven, plus they got something on the television, and they on the phone, and they looking after the kids. They can do it all. They have that mother wit, we call it, as black folk. There's really something to that. It's not just something that's mythical. It's real. And so I believe that there should be a woman. I think she could have been the woman. If she could have just denounced fucking Israel, she would have had my full support. She would have had my full support. Because it would have been worth seeing her getting out of that damn presidential limousine and all the security and shit and Air Force One and the State of the Union and just all the pageantry that comes with that office, It would have just been a real joy to see a woman doing that, and a brown woman. You feel me? Just a brown woman. Because like I said, if she had just shut the fuck up, we would have just taken her as a black woman. She the one that put all that Southeast Asian bullshit out there. If she had never said that, if nobody ever knew that, even if she had said, my mother's Indian, it would have been the same as Barack. My mother was white, my father was black. That was just information. It didn't mean nothing to us. That's a black dude. We was good. She could have did the same thing. Well, my mother's Indian, my father's Jamaican, and that's it. Don't try and make yourself some other culture and shit now, because that kind of rubbed black people a certain type of way. Don't do that. Just I'm a black woman, but my mother's Indian, my father's Jamaican, and we would have just went with that. You see, because they see her as a black bitch. They're not going for all this exotic bullshit. She's black, and that's it to them. That's it. So I think she shot herself in the foot with that as well. But I digress to say that she could have been the woman that we saw coming off of Air Force One and getting out of the presidential limousine and meeting with dignitaries around the world and doing the State of the Union address and all the pageantry and all of it. So it's a little bittersweet. It's sad, that she wasn't able to rise to the occasion. That every moment that mattered, she missed it. That she didn't have the right speech. She didn't have an answer for the critical questions. And she dodged and she weaved, and it was just, the people that voted for her voted because they thought they knew where she stood, and then many just voted because she wasn't Trump. And we just need somebody else. I'm not mad. And I think that after we see this, I'll show you a little piece of a speech from Michelle Obama so you can understand how inferior she is. Like, it just made me sick, and I was just like, couldn't understand why. Because Michelle was out there at many rallies speaking, and then she would introduce her. I'm just thinking, nobody follows Michelle Obama that's in their right mind. You don't, no, you don't speak after Michelle Obama. No one does that. No. Even at the convention, Barack, when he came out, and he wasn't really joking. People took it as a joke, and he kind of said it kind of funny, but he meant it. He goes, and I'm the only one crazy enough to speak after Michelle Obama. And, the crowd reacted. But that's the truth. You don't speak after Michelle. When Michelle is done, that's the end of it. Everybody go home. We done. That's it. Turn the lights off. Turn it off. Turn it off. You don't need to say shit after Michelle Obama has spoken. It has been spoken, and it is over. That's it. So you hear this brilliant speaker, and then this thing comes out after her with all this grinning and cackling and non-substantive speech. It was just like, everybody had to feel that. Everybody had to feel that because you were so glued to Michelle. And then she comes out and you're like, bring back the other lady that was out there. Bring her back out. Just like bring her back out and stuff. So let's just hear a little bit more of this, and then we'll go to Michelle and we'll be over. I don't know what you said. I was running my mouth. What was the applause line?
To the young people who are watching, it is... I love you. To the young people who are watching, it is okay to feel sad and disappointed, but please know it's going to be okay. On the campaign, I would often say, when we fight, we win. But here's the thing. Sometimes the fight takes a while. That doesn't mean we won't win. That doesn't mean we won't win. The important thing is don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever stop trying to make the world a better place. You have power. You have power. And don't you ever listen when anyone tells you something is impossible because it has never been done before.
Look, she can't go on. She cannot go on. This one right here. And the Heaven next to her. They can't go on. They cannot go on. But to add to what she just said, and as Gandhi said, everything is impossible until it is done. I love that quote. I love that. I love that.
You have the capacity to do extraordinary good in the world. And so to everyone who is watching, do not despair. This is not a time to throw up our hands. This is a time to roll up our sleeves. This is a time to organize, to mobilize, and to stay engaged for the sake of freedom and justice and the future that we all know we can build together. Look, many of you know I started out as a prosecutor, and throughout my career, I saw people at some of the worst times in their lives. People who had suffered great harm and great pain, and yet found within themselves the strength and the courage and the resolve to take the stand, to take a stand, to fight for justice, to fight for themselves, to fight for others. So let their courage be our inspiration. Let their determination be our charge. And I'll close with this. There's an adage an historian once called a law of history, true of every society across the ages. The adage is, only when it is dark enough can you see the stars. I know many people feel like we are entering a dark time, but for the benefit of us all, I hope that is not the case. But here's the thing, America, if it is, let us fill the sky with the light of a brilliant, brilliant billion of stars. The light of optimism, of faith, of truth, and service.
You know.
And may that work guide us, even in the face of setbacks, toward the extraordinary promise of the United States of America. I thank you all. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. I thank you all.
That was beautiful what she said at the end. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. And, you know, that's the job of the person who doesn't win. That's the intelligent, intellectual thing, is to give words of calm and resolve. You know, let people down easy. You know, they're crashing. A lot of these people pounded the pavement, knocked on doors, made phone calls. They did it all, and to come to the end and you don't win, it can really crush, man. It can really crush. I worked very hard for Barack Obama's campaign. I was a precinct captain, and I know the personal joy that I felt when they boom, boom, boom. Them little stars came up on the screen. We have a projection. Boom, boom, boom. CNN is now projecting that Senator Barack Obama from the state of Illinois will be the next president of the United States. I felt personally that I had elected Obama. I felt personally responsible. And I know many, 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 many thousands of people felt that same way who worked so hard, who went to call centers and knocked on doors and pounded the pavement and did it all to get him elected, man. Wow. So I know how people feel when their candidate doesn't win, because I felt the exact opposite. The joy, the personal achievement that I felt with that, you know. So this was a great speech. Um, yeah, and just wish we could have seen more of that for the next 4 years, but sadly, white evil, white evil has prevailed. White evil has prevailed. Now, just to contrast her, I want to show you just a little bit of one of Michelle Obama's speeches, just so because I mentioned it, and then we will be out. Now, just contrast this little piece. We won't hear all of this, but contrast this to any speech you ever heard Kamala Harris do. This is the High Queen, the goddess statue, Michelle LaVaughn Robinson Obama.
And I know life is hard. Life be lifing. Really hard. People have enough on their plates just trying to get ahead or just trying to survive. And there are so many distractions that keep us all off balance. So much disinformation flooding our phones, so many lies to keep us uncertain and afraid. But I believe there are some deeper things going on here too. So many folks, particularly our young people, are struggling to find their footing in this world.
I remind you, she's the same age as Kamala Harris. They are both exactly 60 years old. Keep that in mind.
Battling higher levels of stress, anxiety, loneliness, frustration. More folks feel disillusioned, helpless to affect change in their own lives. And that makes them increasingly more apathetic. And as a result, our priorities have gotten a little off whack. We got a lot of folks thirsty for likes from their followers, but uninterested in the needs of their communities. We got folks excited to vote on reality shows, but not willing to vote for their actual reality. Folks climbing up that ladder without thinking about who they step on along the way. And don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with being a little ambitious. There is nothing wrong with working hard to achieve big things in life. All of us are looking for some level of autonomy and control over our lives. But what I don't understand is how so many Americans of all races and backgrounds fail to understand that a healthy, functioning, engaged democracy is absolutely critical to our ability to live life on our own terms, people. Without a vibrant democracy, we don't have any say in shaping our futures. We don't have any ability to change anything at all. Our vote is our voice. It is our power. It is the key to our ability to express ourselves and build the community and the country we want to live in. And I know all of you here in this room get that. But I know it's not always easy to sell that message outside of these walls. A lot of folks out there are wondering if the political system has their best interests at heart. Folks feeling unheard and fed up. Folks resigned to the idea that nothing's ever going to change, that voting and elections don't really matter, that the folks in charge don't care about us, and that maybe the only way to get folks to listen is to not vote at all. And I'm sure all of you have heard these kind of conversations from the folks in your lives. And to tell you the truth, these feelings are not irrational.
I want to get to where she talks about power. This is I mean, this is just, it's brilliant, and it's so effective. Let me take us to that, and then we'll, because we don't need to hear the whole thing. I do hope you will go and see the whole speech on your own. It's well, you can find it anywhere because she's speaking in I think this is in Pennsylvania. Just put she speaks in Pennsylvania. Michelle Obama speaks at rally in Pennsylvania or something like that. Just notice what she's wearing and look for that thumbnail. You feel me? And you should be able to find it. But let me get to that part though. Okay, let's see this part here.
Look, I am not a politician, and I will never be.
Look, she even gave us the hand. You know how sisters do that hand. Like, let me tell you right now, this is not, you feel me? She even gave us the hand, y'all. How they grab the air. That's my sister from the south side of Chicago. Check it out.
Look, I am not a politician, and I will never be. Ever, ever. But for the past couple of decades, I have seen exactly how power works, y'all. I have sat at tables with some of the most powerful people in the world. And let me tell you, a lot of these people sitting at those tables have absolutely no clue what your lives are like. Especially if you don't come from money or you come from a different background than them. Many of them go their entire lives without ever crossing paths or having a single conversation with folks who are different from them. Folks a lot like all of us here tonight. So let me tell you something. They could not care less about your apathy. In fact, they welcome it. They welcome it. They are happy to be in full control of this game. That's why every single person who has real power in this world, they are fully engaged in the political process. Every CEO and billionaire and corporate board president, they follow the news obsessively. They hire lobbyists to fight for their interest. They donate to the candidates they seek to influence. You all hear me now? This is what I'm telling you. They donate on both sides of the aisle if it's in their interest.
You see how she's laying this out? You say, y'all hear me? She goes, this is what I'm telling you. Like, I'm letting y'all in on game. I'm telling you. You see what I'm saying? She's so effective, dude. I'll shut up. You got to just hear this without me yakking. Shut up, Jedi. Shut up now. Do it now. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. All right, I'm shutting up.
Every CEO and billionaire and corporate board president, they follow the news obsessively. They hire lobbyists to fight for their interest. They donate to the candidates they seek to influence. You all hear me now? This is what I'm telling you. They donate on both sides of the aisle if it's in their interest. And you better believe that they vote in every single election because they know how critical elections are to maintaining and building their power base. And when we don't vote, they assume that not only do we not care, but that we are happy to hand our power over to them. Happy. And what a lot of non-voters don't understand about real power is that our absence doesn't make those in charge hear us any better. Instead, our absence is taken as our consent. They take our indifference as part of their mandate to do whatever they want. That has always been the truth of how this country runs. The process goes on with or without you. Decisions are made, judges appointed, laws enacted. So when you're talking to folks out there who are considering sitting on the sidelines, I want you to tell them about how this system really works. Throw some history on them. Tell them about what happened in 1968. Yeah, that's when I was a little girl. Y'all weren't even around. In that election, folks were so fed up with America's presence in Vietnam They chose to not vote at all in that election. Now, we don't know if those folks would have swayed the election, but here's what happened next. We didn't wind down the war. The U.S. expanded it. Thousands more Americans died on the battlefield, and many folks in Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos were killed too. And then I want you to tell them about the presidential election in 2000. Still, many of y'all weren't alive then either. People actually thought a good way to pick our president was to choose the guy they'd rather have a beer with. A beer with. A beer.
A beer.
Like today, folks thought it didn't make a difference who was in the White House because none of it really mattered. So a lot of folks chose to stay home. And barely half of the voting age population cast a ballot in that election, by far the lowest rate this century. And almost 100,000 people voted for a third-party candidate who had no chance of winning. Some voted for that candidate because they wanted to stick their thumb in the eye of the status quo. Does that sound familiar? Because they thought, what difference does one vote make, right? Well, the entire presidency in that election was decided by 537 votes in Florida. 537 votes in one state. And as I said, the folks who win power take a victory of any size as a mandate. In the years that followed that election, America chose to invade Iraq, which led to Americans losing their lives in that war for the next 8 years. The LGBTQ community was used as a political wedge, with states across the country banning gay marriage. An assault weapons ban expired, putting weapons like the AR-15 back on the streets, some of which have made their way into our schools. So if you're talking to anybody who thinks elections don't matter, ask them if any of those things do matter: war, social justice, gun violence. Or maybe ask them another question. Ask them to list the policies that have been changed by people who didn't vote. Ask them the name of one single community that's been improved by people who were uninvolved. And let me tell you, they will not be able to do it. And if they respond by saying that they can't trust the government or that all politicians are the same, ask them where they're hearing that nonsense from. Because the folks who are whispering that stuff into their ears, I guarantee you, do not have their best interest at heart. The videos they're fed on social media, the algorithms on their phones, some guy on a podcast, those things are designed to make folks feel alienated. They're run by those same people in power who want to profit from your distraction. So y'all, you have a choice. You can listen to them, you can fold your arms and stay home, or you can listen to me.
I want to get to the part where she's telling sisters, like, if you going out with a dude and he don't vote, I'm trying to get to that sequence because I think you'll really appreciate and enjoy that. All right, let me get to that.
So, let me tell you, if y'all live like I live, if someone doesn't have the good sense to vote, I don't fool with them. I wouldn't pay, and sorry students, but I wouldn't pay tuition or give gas money to a child of mine that wasn't gonna vote. And fellas, if anybody was that clueless, I definitely wouldn't go out with them. So ask these brothers, you registered? You want to pull up to me? Let me see your voting card. Did you vote early? You cute, but did you vote? That's what I want to know.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that so much, man. I love that so much. Oh my God, I love her so much, dude. It's probably just illegal how much I love Michelle Obama. I love her so much. She is such a gift. And, I had the privilege of meeting Michelle, and I had the privilege of meeting Barack. And I would love to have a conversation with Barack and just say, do you really know how lucky you are, man? That this is who your wife is? Do you really? I just want to be sure that you really appreciate, because if not, I might just have to take off your hands. You feel me? I want you to be inconvenienced and stuff. Feel me? So I would just be doing it just to help you. Feel me? I just take her off your hands, just take her off your hands and stuff. You feel me? Just to help you out. You feel me? Type thing. But I love this woman so much. As I told you all over the years, when Allah gives you a blessing, He gives you the gift, and then He gives you the kiss. It's like you want something, you pray for something, and then Allah gives you that. But then He always gives you something else, so that there's no doubt this is from me. Just in case there's any doubt, let me give you a kiss. And for me, the presence of Barack and Michelle was absolutely that. His very name, Barak, is blessing. You hear Muslims will say Tabarakallah, Barakallah, Barakafik. You see? When we say Barakallah, that means the blessing of Allah be upon you. His very name means blessing. Allah is literally speaking to us. That's why I get very tight when I hear dumbass Negroes talking about Barack didn't do nothing, he ain't do nothing, because he wasn't going to change 233 years of fucking white evil in 8 years, dumbass. Sat down. Sat. But he was also a test. And those people who proclaim that shit have failed the test. You got to know when the divine is blessing you. You got to know. So his very name is Barak. And the kiss was this woman. That's the kiss. Yes, this is the gift, and this is the kiss. Just so you have no doubt that this is from me. This is why we had 8 years of nothing but perfection from these people. They can't take a bad picture. There was no scandal. You can't find anything in their background that was nefarious. We can't find it. Because their presence was ordained by Allah. I'm clear about that. I'm very clear. So, do go and watch this, the full speech if you're inclined, everybody, and any speeches that Michelle Obama gave during this campaign. She was brilliant at all of them. I watched every single one of them. I love any opportunity to see this woman and to hear whatever she's going to say. And I always have to make sure that I remember to say this to people. Because if it was a white bitch, it would be widely known. But because she's a sister, it's been hushed. I need you to know that when she wrote her memoir, Becoming, it is the biggest memoir in the history of anybody that ever said the word memoir. I need you to know that. And you need to tell your kids, especially your little girls. It is the biggest selling memoir this is the Thriller of books. Like Michael Jackson had Thriller, nobody will ever outsell it. Her book was that. It's that. And she sold out stadiums. The shit Madonna, Beyonce, and all these people would be performing in. Michelle Obama sold out those stadiums to talk about her book. Her book tour was the biggest book tour in the history of a book tour. That means people came, stood in line, knew they could be up in a nosebleed seat somewhere way the fuck where you're never going to be anywhere near Michelle even enough to even smell her damn perfume. You're definitely going to need binoculars or one of those Megatrons they put up. And still, they packed stadiums just to hear her talk about a book. There was no opening act. There was no pyro. Beyonce wasn't there with a fan blowing on her. There was no comedian. There was no music. There wasn't a band. There was nothing. It was just Michelle to talk about her book. That has to be known. That has to be known, man. Around the world, this book was the biggest memoir ever executed. She is beloved across the earth. Beloved. Beloved across the earth. This woman, Michelle LaVaughn Robinson Obama, from the south side of Chicago like me. Wow. Yeah, you have to know that detail. People don't know that. There's so many people I've talked to and they go, "Oh, I didn't know that." I'm like, "Well, now you know." And like I say, had she been a white bitch, it would be that's all they'd be talking about. Oh, she had the biggest book tour ever. Her book is the biggest. No, we don't hear shit. But I have been sounding the alarm and yelling it to the mountaintop because I need people to know that detail about her. I need people to know. Even Barack's book couldn't outdo her. And he was the president. She is an extraordinary woman. A queen indeed. An angel, I say. So, I digress. The Cackling Whore lost for all the reasons that I have presented as my evidence in this prosecution. And sadly, we have white inferiority at the helm again. And my best advice to everyone who can is to get out of this fucking country while you can. If you can get out before the inauguration, that would be good. So, I thought I would be out of here in November, but as I've told you guys, I've been very consumed with the events of the life of my godson and his mother in North Carolina. They are homeless. And I have been working very tirelessly to try to do all that I can for them, but I'm only one. But I say that to say that I thought I would be out in November, and obviously that didn't happen. And so I think I can be at peace, at least if I can get out before the inauguration in January, you know. Yeah, get out of here, man. Because it's not just Trump, it's white people in general. They have lost their mind. If they go anywhere and they're not the majority, they already feel some type of way. They see the walls closing in on them in this country. More and more we're coming to power, even though it's not the right ones of us coming to power, because they really have something to be afraid of if somebody like me comes to power. That's something else. But I'm just trying to say that increasingly as this country becomes less white, they become more angry. I've brought you videos and evidence proving and showing to you that they are having more deaths than births. They're not reproducing themselves at the rate of everybody else. Praise be to Allah, they are dying off, to put it in clear terms for you. They are dying off. Allahu Akbar. But alas, they're not gone yet. And so, they're going to raise hell for as long as they are here. And if we're not going to put up a resistance, then the only thing you can do, your best bet, is to just get the fuck out. And I would advise that. As I've said, for my own self, anyone who comes to Africa, if you choose to come to the Gambia, which is where I will live, you have a place to live. You have an address, and you have somebody that will pick you up at the airport. That's me. Anyone who comes, and I've made this pledge to you over the years. I've said this, and I mean it. Anyone who comes, you have a place to stay. You have a place. You have someone you know. You have an address. You have someone to pick you up at the airport. I will stand by that as long as I have breath in me. I mean it. I mean that. I mean that. as I said to you earlier, I'm gonna try, hopefully, to try and get a webcam tomorrow, you guys, so that I can try to be live with you tomorrow, God willing. And I really hope I can make that happen. Like I say, I don't know why I didn't do it. What's today? Well, today is Tuesday. What is? I never know what day it is. I don't know what today is. Okay, it must be Wednesday because the election was yesterday. Okay, that's why I know. All right. So I don't know why I don't know why I didn't even do it after the last video that I put out because I said that. I don't know. I don't know why. I think I forget that I need it. That's what's happened. I've been out and I forget that I need it. Yeah. So I'll remember that I need it. And so I will try to get a webcam tomorrow so that I can be live with you guys. Again, another big shout out to all the new subscribers to the channel. And I want to say too, if I always love, you don't have to do this, but I always like it when news people leave a little comment saying, "Hey Jedi, I'm a new subscriber." I love that because I love to reach out to you and personally welcome you to the channel. You know, so if you don't want to do it, that's okay, but I do like to do that. So if you're new, you'd like to do that, then I would love for you to do it. You know, if you haven't subscribed, we definitely would be honored if you would join us here on this channel. And again, another big shout out to the subscribers. I also want to put a big shout out to those of you out there that share my videos, because I get the analytics. They send me a weekly report. It shows all the activity of the channel, and I got some soldiers out there, man. I got some soldiers out there. I do. I do. I'm really hard on my audience, and I know it because I bitch at you guys for everything. I want you to thumbs up the video. For the love of God, why can't you thumbs up the video? And on I go. But I've got some soldiers out there, man. I do. And when I see those shares, it shows me how many shares you've had and what videos and all this thing. I see I got people out there doing some work, and I love you for that. You know who you are. I don't. It doesn't tell me who does it. It just shows me the number. And so I appreciate you guys. I thank you so much because, as I've said over the years, I'm the channel host, but this is not my channel. This is our channel. And if you're here, then that means I speak for you. I speak for us. We are like-minded. I speak for my people as a whole. I am a voice, an ambassador for African people in this nation. I am. And I'm honored to do it. It is my calling. I've always been an activist. I've always been militant. I've always been defiant my whole life. This is not new for me. It's not new for me. It's just that now more people get to experience me, but I've always been the same person. Absolutely. And I'm never going to stop. This is a fire that burns, that cannot be put out. It is an eternal flame. It cannot be extinguished. It cannot. It's eternal. It's eternal. So do subscribe. Do join us here on the channel. Do remember to thumbs up the work, everybody. And thank you guys for all of you guys who do share the videos. Share the work. Share it. Share it. Share it. And as I say, I'm going to try to be live with you tomorrow, God willing. In the meantime, I lost my train of thought. So maybe I didn't need to say whatever I can't remember that I was going to say. But yeah, so God willing, we'll be together tomorrow. I love you all, and I'll see you then. This is the Jedi.